Hello fellow food lovers. Today I will be making Chinese steamed egg custard with shrimp and Chinese greens. You will need 4 eggs, 2 cups chicken stock, 16 medium shrimp, 4 stems of Chinese greens called Choy, 2 green onion, and 2 shiitake mushroom that have been soaked in water overnight, the dried ones. For the sauce, you'll need 1 tablespoon soy sauce, 1 tablespoon oyster sauce, 1 teaspoon chicken powder, 1 teaspoon sesame oil, and 1 tablespoon cornstarch. Okay, I'm going to make the egg mixture. So you will need 4 eggs, and then you will add 2 cups of chicken broth to that. So you want to give that a good whisk so that the egg yolks are broken up and the egg is mixed in with the chicken stock. So if you're using unsalted chicken stock, add a dash of salt to it. If the chicken stock you're using is already salted, you can skip the salt. But give it a good mix. Okay, so we have 16 medium shrimp. The shrimp came deveined already, so all you have to do is shell them. Okay, all the shrimp are shelled now. Give the shrimp a quick rinse just to get any slime off them. And then drain. Always wash your cutting board after you're been cutting meat or handling seafood before you use it again. So I've got 2 dried shiitake mushrooms that have been soaking in water overnight, 24 hours. So you want to save that water. You can use it for the sauce. It has a lot of flavor in it. So you want to cut the stems off because you can't really eat the stems. They're quite dry and hard. And then you want to slice the 2 mushrooms into slivers. So the mushrooms are really for flavor more than anything. They impart a nice earthy flavor to the sauce. Okay, we have 2 green onions. We're gonna slice that up. And these are Chinese greens called Choy, also called Choy sam. So we're just going to use 4 stems just to give the dish a bit of green. So you make sure you wash it good, wash the leaves before you use it. I'm going to cut them into little sections, small sections, maybe ½ an inch long. Okay, so we're gonna steam the egg custard now. So I have the wok. I put maybe 4 cups of water into the wok, and then I turn the heat on to high. Then you need a little stand to put the glass Pyrex pie plate on. So I have a little stand that I put on the bottom of the wok. And then I'll put the glass Pyrex pie plate on top of that. You could even use a metal pie plate too, but pie plates actually fit well in the wok. And make sure you have a cover that can actually cover the wok without touching the pie plate. Okay, so we're waiting for the water to come to a boil, so it's boiling now. Maybe 4 or 5 minutes have gone by. So you need to get a strainer, and you need to strain the egg mixture through the strainer before you pour it into the pie plate. So give the eggs a whisk, make sure it's mixed in with soup broth. Then you're going to pour it through a strainer into the pie plate. The reason you strain it is it gives the egg a really smooth texture. If you don't strain it, it'll be all clumpy. Once it's strained, it almost has a texture similar to tofu. It's very nice. So this is called water egg. Okay, so I have a mixing bowl that fits right over the wok without touching the sides of the pie plate. So I put that over there to keep the steam in. So we're basically steaming the egg mixture. This type of egg is called water egg in Chinese because it's usually egg mixed with water, and it gives it a very smooth texture, like a custard. I use chicken broth with the eggs instead of water. And in China, you can actually serve it just as a steamed egg dish, or you could put different toppings on it. And a very common thing is seafood and Chinese greens. So you want to steam the egg for 10 minutes exactly. So 10 minutes has gone by. So I took the lid off, and as you can see, the eggs solidified. If after 10 minutes the egg is still kind of wet, then steam it for a few more minutes because it needs to be set before you take it out. So the ratio is 4 eggs to 2 cups of chicken broth to make the custard. So as you can see, it's set. So now we're going to make the topping. And the wok's all cleaned and it's hot. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of cooking oil. And then we're going to add the shrimp and cook it. So this typical dish will have seafood, either shrimp or shrimp and scallops, and maybe even squid. And it'll come in a sauce with Chinese greens, either choy or gailan or even bok choy. But the vegetables tend to be small pieces to kind of match with the seafood. So right now we're going to cook the shrimp. So we'll cook one side until it starts to turn white in the bottom, and then we turn it over and cook the other side, and then it's done. Once the shrimp turns white, solid white, then it's cooked. Okay, we stir it around a bit. Make sure that the raw side is facing down now. And this is one of my favorite dishes. It goes really good with rice. I first had this in Vancouver, and a lot of the Hong Kong style restaurants will have this dish on their menu. It'll be like seafood on egg custard. This is kind of like the Chinese version of Japanese chawanmushi. It's kind of like a steamed egg custard with seafood in it. Okay, so I'm going to take the shrimp out, it's cooked. And wash the wok. Okay, the wok's washed. It's on high heat. So we're going to add 2 tablespoons cooking oil. Then we're going to cook the greens now. Okay, so we're going to add the shiitake mushrooms first. So once the mushroom has been reconstituted after it's soaked overnight in water, it only takes a couple of minutes to cook. So we're going to kind of fry the shiitake mushrooms for a few minutes. Give that a stir. Then we're going to add the Chinese greens, the Choy. So we're just going to cook the Choy until it's kind of wilted, and then it's pretty much done, and then we can add the sauce. Give that a stir, make sure that the shiitakes are mixed in with the greens. So whenever you're using shiitake mushrooms that are dried and you've been soaking them in water overnight before you use them, never throw the water out. That water has a lot of flavor. It's almost like a mushroom stock. So you can add that liquid into the sauce. Okay, the greens are pretty much wilted now. We're going to add the water from the shiitake mushrooms. Then we're going to add 1 cup of water. So we're going to season it now. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of chicken powder. One teaspoon of sesame oil. One tablespoon of soy sauce. And 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce. So we're gonna let it come up to a boil. Make sure you stir the sauce into the water. And then we're going to make the cornstarch slurry now. So we're going to take 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, put it into a bowl, and I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of water to that. Stir it, make sure the cornstarch is all mixed up, dissolved. Okay, so the water is boiling now in the wok. We're going to add the cornstarch slurry, thicken the sauce up. Give that a stir, make sure that the cornstarch is well incorporated into the water. Then we're going to add the shrimp. Mix that in. Okay, so it's pretty much done. So turn the heat off, and then we're gonna carefully pour that mixture over the egg custard. So don't just dump it in there, you're gonna break the egg custard. Just pour it gently over, and it'll be ready to serve. Okay, so we have some green onions. We're going to sprinkle it over the top before we serve it. Green onion is a common garnish in Cantonese cooking to finish off a stir fry. It doesn't work with all stir fries, only certain ones that work well with green onions. Okay, there you have it. Chinese steamed egg custard with shrimp and Chinese greens. This dish goes really good with rice. And you can switch it up too. You can make the topping with shrimp, scallops, and squid, and even fish slices too if you want. And make sure you have a lot of sauce, because the sauce goes well with the egg custard. Okay, bon appetit.